Hello and welcome to everyone who is joining us. My name is Krista Jack and I'm the president of the Lakeville Area Chamber of Commerce. And this webinar that we're doing this morning is brought to you. It's a series of real-time solutions that's brought to you by the Apple Valley, Burnsville, Hastings, Lakeville, and River Heights Chambers of Commerce. And just a reminder, the goal of these webinars for about the last year or so has been to address our business concerns as we were kind of navigating through the pandemic, and then now as we continue to kind of come out in our recovery. And I want to give a special thank you to our series sponsor, Lakeview Bank. For those that are not familiar, Lakeview Bank is a community bank right here in Lakeville. And they are a very important part of not only our community, but so many of our surrounding communities. They're members of several chambers in Dakota County, and they do an amazing job not only with your banking needs, both commercial and personal, but they give back so much to the communities that they serve. And they are founded on the core values of integrity, honesty, respect, service, attitude, and professionalism. And I can tell you from personal experience, they live that every day. And so thank you so much to Lakeview Bank for everything that you do in our communities. And thank you for sponsoring this series. And just a reminder, some housekeeping items this morning. Everyone is muted. So if you do have questions, please put those in the chat in the Q&A and we'll address those at the very end. And so I'm excited. I'm very excited today to welcome Bob Trewartha, who is the Director of Continuing Education and Training, and Kendra Pearson, who is the Director of Prior Learning Assessment, both with Dakota County Technical College and Inver Hills Community College. And the reason that we asked Bob and Kendra to join us today is we've been talking to so many of you who obviously are recruiting quite a bit right now. We have so many open positions, and kind of those standard things that we've done for years and years aren't working anymore. We need to get more creative. We need to start kind of turning over more stones and really looking at partnerships and other things. And so what's great about Dakota County Technical College, Inver Hills, and a lot of those higher learning education institutions is they've got great ways that we can partner with them and we can get access to their students, those people that are in their classes right now who are learning for their career. And so they have ways that we can tap into that and really be a part of the process. So Bob and Kendra, I'm excited. I know you have a lot to share. So I am going to turn off my camera and let you two take it away, and I'll see you back in a minute.
Excellent. Thanks, Krista. First of all, want to welcome everybody. I really do encourage, if you do have some questions, put them in the chat. We'll cover those at the end. A couple things real quick before we jump into the excitement here. We're from Inver Hills Community College and Dakota County Technical College, but this is a presentation that really is for any interaction with other colleges as well. In fact, at the end, I have some contact information for St. Paul College and the Minneapolis College. If you need additional information for other colleges, please let me know and I can get you hooked up with, if it makes sense, for whether it's geography or whatever the type of offering might be. We can take care of you. We're both Inver Hills and Dakota County are obviously two-year colleges, a little bit different focus from maybe a more of a liberal arts type of curriculum to more of a technical hands-on curriculum, but we really do work together. And when you think of one, think of the other. We're definitely part of the same team. So having said that, our agenda today, we're going to try to cover a combination of some trends in higher education, look at some opportunities that might actually create, and what we can do to hopefully start the journey of creating some partnerships with you as businesses and with us as higher education institutions. Maximizing benefits, kind of looking at some of the best ways to create those interactions, to build and hopefully bring to fruition some of the partnership ideas. We have a partner toolkit, if you will, that if anybody is interested, and we'll mention this a little bit later on, we can get you a copy of basically a folder of information that gives you additional ideas, things that you can do to create partnerships. Again, other schools have similar types of things that they can provide, but we'll make that available as well. And then a list of contacts. So if you need to chat with somebody, whether it's me or Kendra, or somebody else from a different school, you'll be all set. So, trends and opportunities. I'm going to let Kendra kind of jump in here and chat a little bit about what's going on in higher ed.
Thanks, Bob. Good morning, everybody. So right now, trends in higher education. So what we're seeing, and we have seen for a few years, is that the traditional age student, the student that's coming out of high school, you know, people aren't having as many children as they used to. And so those numbers are actually declining. So a lot of institutions are having to rely on adult students or prospective adult students. So right now in the country, there's almost 120 million adults over the age of 25 who have some college and no degree or no college experience whatsoever. So we're really looking at those 120 million to help ease those enrollment woes for us. Compared to the number of students that graduate high school every year, it's usually around 3 million high school students that graduate each year. So 3 million or 120 million, I'd rather go after the 120 million. So we have a lot of career changers right now too. I'm on the academic side of the house, and prior learning assessment is taking that prior learning supported by experiences and maybe being able to fit it into a degree or a class or two that you can then move a little faster through getting some sort of completion, whether it's a certificate or a degree. But those career changers are coming back, and I'm seeing some very interesting ones. I'm seeing the social worker who wants to now be a welder, or a teacher who now wants to be a nurse. So, and a lot of those people actually are in their 40s. They are people who recognize that they're going to be in the workforce for a long time, but also don't necessarily, and this might be a Gen X generation thing, but don't necessarily see themselves retiring in their 60s. They want to continue on working and have something to do. So definitely seeing career changers who are looking at the next 20 to 30 years. And then also wanted to mention a free opportunity if you want to learn more about adult students and adult students in higher education. Inver Hills and Dakota County are hosting an Adult Learner Institute. It's free. It's a 2-day conference. We definitely love having our community partners, and there's going to be presentations on, you know, just anything that has to do with adult students and how to not only make things innovative and creative for adult students to come back, but how we can work better with our partners. And I can definitely put a link for that in the chat. I think Lise is also on, so maybe she can maybe put the link for our conference. Again, we love having our community partners as part of that, and it's a free 2-day virtual conference. So, all right, Bob, over to you. I feel like a host. Television host.
Absolutely. So opportunities for engagement. One of the things that, as you probably guessed with Kendra's comments, that we're seeing a little bit different makeup or demographic of who's going to college, right? It's not just your 18-year-olds getting out of high school and going into college. A lot of these folks are, you know, whether they're career changing or they're looking at coming back to school to advance within their whether within their present business or look to jump to another business. There's a real desire by adult learners to expand their horizons. And a big part of that, and part of what, again, we want to be able to touch on is both recruitment and retention, right? I mean, it's obviously a huge task right now to find employees. We'll talk a number of ways that we can help with that, but also to retain your existing employees, your good employees that you really want to be part of your future. So training, obviously, this is probably no big surprise, but we do a lot of training here at the school. And one of the things that we provide on the non-credit side is more traditional if you will, certifications and like one-off classes and skill development. On the academic side, it's more of your traditional programs and working towards associate degrees or diplomas, that type of a thing. We're transferring to a four-year bachelor program type of a thing. One of the things that you can do, and this might seem kind of obvious, but is hire our students. Now, when it comes to hiring our students, part of what I mean by that is from a part-time perspective, an opportunity to be able to give them some experience. Some of this might be internship type related, some of it might just be part-time jobs, but giving them a flavor for what you have to offer as a business. One of the things, and this is timely right now, but at the same time, I think it's something that as a society, we have really come to watershed moment that equity and inclusion is something that we've always found important, but it's particularly important to be able to show prospective employees that this is something that you care about, that's something that you feel is important, and doing everything you can to make sure that we display that for people to see. And then partnership ideas, this is where we kind of get beyond the surface to talk about how we can work with you as businesses. Recently, and this is just one example of a partnership, and that is with Northern Tool and Die, working with DCTC specifically because they're interested in welding personnel and other manufacturing types of positions. We sat down and talked about what all the needs were. There's obviously some hiring needs, but there are also some retention needs, and there's some retraining needs within their organization to have employees provide additional functions within the organization. So part of it is the idea of making that connection, sitting down, talking about what's needed, and then trying to, again, solve those problems. We've got a number of things kind of in the works, and some of that we will talk about here in maximizing benefits. One of the first things I would mention here, and Kendra and I are going to kind of go back and forth as we talk about how we can use each one of these aspects to create and build both partnership, but also ways that you might be able to maximize your opportunity to find employees and, again, retain employees. So CECT is our continuing education and customized training, the non-credit training part. One of the things that we do oftentimes with, and this is something, again, Kendra's going to talk a little more about, but we create what we call a crosswalk, where if somebody were to take a course with us that's a non-credit course, it in many cases would count towards a course on the academic side that would help somebody, say, start with a welding class, maybe even get a welding certification on the non-credit side, and then that would then count towards the welding degree. So it's a way for us to help somebody get from a singular class into a program and then into a degree. So along those steps, these individuals are going to be looking for some form of employment. And again, one of the things that we're working with Northern Tool is some part-time opportunities for those folks that are kind of going through that process. It's also a way for employees to get a better snapshot of what those employees look like. So kind of a internship / trial run, but a way that you'd be able to kind of take a look at an employee and hopefully mentor them a little bit and get them to stick around once they graduate. Kendra, you want to?
Yeah, so Bob mentioned the credit for prior learning, and not just on the non-credit side of the house, but you all are doing really good training or sending your employees to different conferences or workshops or certifications. And so we have the potential to even evaluate the training that you're doing with your employees for credit and help move them onto a pathway of getting a degree. One example was we actually had a reach out from Medtronic, and they had some employees that they wanted to move up into management, but these employees did not have a 2-year degree. And, HR regulations, they needed to have a 2-year degree to move into management. So they had a lot of background in IT certifications. We have those certifications crosswalked already into our IT programs on both campuses. And so these students were able to start with several credits already completed and move through their degree very quickly so that they could move up into management with Medtronic. So that's just an example of how credit for prior learning can help you retain your employees and move them up.
Excellent. Definitely something to take advantage of. Real quick, speaking in classrooms and tours of your business, these might seem very simplistic in terms of the activity, but I'll tell you, if somebody's the job seeker, they're out looking at potential places to find employment. And honestly, there's a lot of opportunity, as we know, a lot more positions available than there are individuals for them, and students or graduates understand that, so they're taking a look at where they want to work. And if you can come into a classroom, we've had folks just recently come into some of our welding classrooms and just talk a little bit about the business, about what do you guys have to offer, what is why should I work for your business, type of a thing. And it's just a way to build a relationship with some of those students. Instructors are always looking for real life experiences and the opportunity to go on a tour of a business, to take a look at your operation. Again, students get a chance to come in and see what you have available and the working environment, and it's something that they can see themselves working at. They're going to want to go work for you as a result. So, both tour of your business and speaking in classrooms are a couple ways that you can get to meet some of those prospective employees.
Another way too is advisory boards. So while our faculty, I think, are the best faculty, I might be biased, but we can't be everywhere. So we need to know what's happening in your industry. What are those trends? We need the advice from our industry partners if they're seeing something that needs to be changed in our curriculum, or if there's opportunities for students, or any kind of advice that you can offer. Every degree program and subject area has to have an advisory board. So if that's something you're interested to, we can connect you with those different departments in those industries.
Again, these are all different ideas. They're not the end all, but they're part of the larger kind of partnership involvement, getting to know the students who can ultimately become your employees. One of the other ways, because there was only so much room in the bubble there, it says contributions. But really what we mean by that is everything from working with the foundation. Our foundation does a fantastic job supporting our students and giving, whether it's a contribution of some in-kind materials, equipment, scholarships, even volunteer time. I mean, there's a variety of different ways to contribute something to the school, and the acknowledgement of those contributions is something that the students would obviously not just see, but they would participate in. So that's another way to create a connection with the school.
Another way is, oh, getting back feed from you, Bob. Another way is our admissions team. We've gone out to our employer partners. We know and understand it's difficult sometimes for your employees to be able to get to our campuses because of work and life and just also the craziness of the past year. So our admissions teams have actually gone to our business partners, and then your employees can come to us right there on site, have a conversation with us about what their goals are and where they would like to see their education pathway go. And this is a great way too for you to retain employees, especially if you have a tuition reimbursement program, helping build up those employees. Research shows if you help improve your employees and their educational path and help move them forward, they become very loyal. So, we can definitely help have that conversation with them about what the best fit is for them and what their goals are. And is it a certificate or a diploma or a degree? Maybe it's just some upskilling that they need. So again, our admissions teams, we're more than happy to come out to you, and not just the admissions teams, all of us will go out and visit for various things.
Maybe just a real quick follow-up on that, because I think when it comes to that retooling, or even just anybody that has people that they know that are interested in going to school, some of the types of trainings that we offer range from everything as maybe simplistic as it might sound, professionalism, business skills, the idea of anything related to IT or computers, again, from the very basic level of Microsoft Word to, I don't really know high level.
Marketing skills.
Marketing skills for sure. And as well as a lot of technical types of skills like welding, soldering, and anything related to healthcare, that type of a thing. So if anything in those areas are something that folks are interested in, whether it's the admissions team or really contact any one of us, and we'll be able to help you on your journey. As a quick recap, and we're going to just maybe skim this real quick, involvement in the campus, on the campus, the more that you can create an involvement opportunity, and it's something that we can obviously help you do. So if you're interested in this, please let us know. We will get you involved in some capacity with the school and ultimately the students who ultimately would be hopefully your employees. Kendra, anything you want to touch on real quick that we haven't already talked about?
Well, on the retention side, with retention, we can definitely help be that connector. We have a lot of partners that will often come to us, and I have a great example of Johnson Control actually connected to me through a friend on LinkedIn, and they have a great program that they're looking to not only partner with the Department of Corrections, but also with an institution because they are seeing with the gray tsunami, they're seeing a huge number of their employees going to be retiring in the next 8 years. And so they already have an educational program for their employees, which is very extensive, but then they also created a program to put into the Department of Corrections around the country to train people who have been in institutions to then, once they get out, they have a job in the HVAC world. So they partnered with us. We're doing some credit for prior learning. We have connections with the Department of Corrections. So we were that connector to bring Johnson Control and the Department of Corrections to the table. And it's brought in a lot of different areas on campus. Bob's working with them. I'm working with them. The vice presidents are working with them, and our HVAC department. So there's really a lot of opportunity. And so sometimes we, businesses our business partners and higher education, we don't run in the same circles sometimes, so we can help be that connector for nonprofits and other entities that you might be looking to get into and want to create partnerships through education and to get employees that way. And so that's been a really interesting and innovative path for us. And again, you know, that credit for prior learning can be really a good key piece for that. You know, when employees can get some credit for that experience and training that you've given them, that can be huge. I've had students get really excited about getting 3 credits, and that's one less class they have to take. They're thrilled that they just, the acknowledgement that they get, that things that they've done are worthy. So that's huge for a lot of adult students who are coming back.
Again, we are probably just touching the surface here. I mentioned real briefly at the beginning that we do have kind of a toolkit that we can make available for anybody that's interested. It gives a little more information on some of the things that we talked about, but also some whether it's trends in higher education or other ways that you can participate. And here's a list of some contact information. Again, we're from Inver Hills in Dakota County, but St. Paul campus does a fantastic job, as does the Minneapolis campus. There's a few other campuses that are nearby, and if you need contact information for any of those, please let us know. But if we can't meet what you need, we can certainly find somebody that can.
You guys, that is some great information. Thank you both for sharing that. And you're right, like you guys had mentioned, it's at a very high level. It's more to kind of get you guys thinking, and if there's something that piqued your interest, then to reach out to them to go into more depth. We did have a question. Someone is asking if you guys do job fairs.
We do. Of course, with COVID right now, they're doing virtual, I believe, but both Inver and Dakota have a career service office and team on both campuses. We also have a student or a job board for students, and you can go out and create an account anytime and post jobs there. But we do have an office. They are a little bit in transition right now. We just hired a new person for Inver Hills, but also for Dakota, we're hiring a new person, but we do have people in the interim overseeing those offices. So, you know, definitely reach out. We also have lots of opportunity for internships, and you know, sometimes students with their capstone, when they're finishing their program, they need to do a capstone project. They need to do, you know, so many hours with that capstone project. So that could be a great opportunity too for your businesses. If there's a project that you've been wanting to work on, sometimes a student could help you do that and get that moving and do it for credit. So, you know, there's definitely lots of opportunity there.
And with that, would they reach out to the career service then for that, if they're saying, hey, I'd like to kind of get on the capstone list potentially, or something? Does that go through career service?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Anybody that's interested could contact us, and we'll make sure that you
Yes.
get to the right people.
Mm-hmm.
And two, there's, I know Lise put a lot of things in the chat, and so a lot of links, so I'll make sure that I get that out to the partners and everyone, and so that you guys can have those links too when we send the recordings out as well. And I think I'm just checking the chat here, because I think, is she adding some more? So there's some more in there. So yeah, we'll make sure we get all those out to everybody for that. Thank you both so much. I think, you know, I think the big takeaway I hope for people is that you all are so willing to partner, that you really see the value in the business community and what they bring. And obviously that's what you're doing, right? You're training these folks to work at our businesses. So we as businesses need to, you know, come up alongside that and really use it to our benefit. And so thank you for really kind of showing that anything's possible. And I know from personal experience working with you guys, you know, you're really willing to try new things and do new things. So as an employer, if you've got an idea or questions, feel free to reach out. I mean, they'll let you know if they can or they can't, but it's fun to have that connection. So again, Bob and Kendra, I can't thank you enough so much for being here, and this is great information, and I hope that it spurs some relationships kind of moving forward for everyone. I also want to thank you to Lakeview Bank, again, our series sponsor. Another thing, so kind of back to DCTC a little bit, they're going to be hosting, for those that haven't seen it yet, we are doing a 4-part series. It's a business unification series. It starts May 7th, and we've got local speaker and author Eric Thurwanger, who is going to be working with us. And we've got 4 one-hour sessions, and they are going to be at DCTC. And you and your team, it's a great opportunity to bring your team, and you're going to learn strategies to unify your leaders. You're going to understand how to raise the leadership bar, discover new ways to communicate, and then setting and accomplishing goals. And so what's great, Bob and I were just talking about this, the last session will be on June 4th. And for those that come in person, we will do a tour of DCTC afterwards. So it gives you an opportunity to look around the school and learn a little bit more. So you kind of get a twofer when you register for that, but you can register through any of your local chambers here who we're working on that. But again, starts next Friday, May 7th. They're 1 hour, they're 4 one-hour sessions. And it's brought to you by the same group that brings you this real-time solutions, the Apple Valley, Burnsville, Hastings, Lakeville, and River Heights Chambers of Commerce. And so again, too, if there's other topics that you guys want to know about, people you want to hear from, make sure and reach out and we'll work on that for you. So again, Bob, Kendra, thank you very much for being with us. Great information.
Thank you, Krista.
Yes, absolutely. And everyone have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. All right, take care. Bye-bye.